Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And what we're going to look at in this video is Grandstream Network's first tri-band Wi-Fi 7 access point. It is the GWN7672. So let's take a look at what comes in the box. We don't do traditional unboxings around here. All right, so they've added some extra paperwork to this box. So you always get your quick install guide. So you always get that. But now they've added another piece of paper in here that has the certification regulatory information. Maybe some of the other APs have had this, but this is kind of the first time that I remember seeing this. So you can read all of the certification information for all of the governing bodies. We get the access point itself, which is, it is a pretty nice sized AP, but it's the new style. So we're kind of getting away from the recessed edge. Everything's kind of flat here. You can see it says Wi-Fi 7 on the front, Grandstream. We've got our LED indicator there. Underneath, we're going to have, this is it's got a 1 or a 5 gig port. Yeah, actually both of these ports. So the port 1 is PoE plus. In the center of this, you'll see a reset button. And then net 2 is also a 5 gig port. So both of those ports are 5 gig capable, which means Grandstream's already got 5 gig switches, or they are on the way. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? We have the sticker that I'm always thankful for that has our password on it. We get 2 mounting plates and then a box or a bag of mounting accessories. So this access point is going to have a lot of the same great software features, where it can be a controller for up to 50 APs on site. You can manage it via GWN.cloud. You can manage it with a Grandstream router, a GCC device, or you can run it on GWN Manager. So there's so many different management options for this. It's kind of crazy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get this plugged in, and we're going to hook it up. We'll take an overview of the software like we always do, and we'll run a couple speed tests and see kind of where we're sitting at. I'll probably have to play around with it and turn on MLO and all those good things and test those features out. But I want to at least get in the AP so you can see it. So if you've been waiting for a tri-band Wi-Fi 7 access point from Grandstream, we now have it. So let me get this hooked up and I'll be right back. And real quick, while we're waiting for that to boot up, let's take a look at the spec sheet. So right here it says it's got 11 gigabits of aggregate wireless throughput and 5 gig of aggregated wireless or wired throughput. It is Wi-Fi 7 tri-band 2x2x2x2 MU-MIMO with MLO, 4K QAM, MRU, and preamble puncturing technology. It says it's got up to 175 meter coverage. Will support 384 concurrent connected devices. That doesn't mean that everybody can talk at full speed at the same time. Supports QoS, auto power detection, and then here's what we were talking about with all of your management options. So it does support the full gamut of Wi-Fi. If for some reason you wanted to run 802.11b, you could still do that. You can see here on the 6 gigahertz, it says we can do 5.7 gigs roughly. On the 5 gig, we can do 4.3 gigabits. And on 2.4, our throughput's going to be up to 688 megabits. Now, that might just be the physical connection. As you see, sometimes what you're connected at is not what you're transferring at. Usually I say what you're connected at divided in half, and that's about what you're going to get. That's just the nature of of Wi-Fi. So you can have, oh, that's the other thing. So this has 7 single frequency antennas. And that's because it also has Bluetooth built in. They're working on building some location tracking things, and it'll be interesting to see how that rolls out. You can have 48 total SSIDs on a single access point, so you can have 16 per radio. That is absolutely overkill. Yeah, let me know if you would ever actually have a legitimate need for 48 SSIDs on a single access point. Like we said, we've got the 2 5 gig LANs, and it does have that Bluetooth low energy built in, wall mount, ceiling mount kit included. So it is, oh, this might be important for some of you. It has a maximum power consumption of 25 watts. So that's a little bit. I'll leave a link to this down below, but let me see if I can find this on the network, and we'll do a quick run through, and we'll see what happens when I get connected with my phone. All right, so we're gonna get logged in with that password that's on the sticker. We'll see if it prompts me to change it. I can't remember where we're at in that. Loading. I can hear my PC that I'm recording with grinding away over there. So we're going to select this. We're going to change the password for the SSID. We're going to leave it the same, WPA3. And I'm just going to change this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to complete that. We're going to let all of these things reboot. Okay, so the other thing is I want to change my admin password from that crazy password to my lab password. We'll do that, apply that. Okay, so here we are. This should, if you're running Grandstream access points, this should all be very familiar to you. This is their main dashboard. Here we can see all of the access points that are being managed by this AP. You can also see other ones in the network, but you can't, unless this one is the leader, you can't make any configurations. Now, right now out of the box, it's just on auto, right? So I haven't done any tuning of that radio. We got the default SSID. You can see it's WPA3. It is going across all of the bands, so it is tri-band. There are currently no clients. But like I said, this has all of the same options that all of the other APs have. And I wonder if there's a way, and you can see it's discovering some of the other APs on my network, but we're not going to manage those. I was trying to see if there was a quick way to show you. This is connected to the network at 5 gigabits. So we'll see what happens when we connect to it with the phone and run the speed test. I'm going to run that speed test to my speed test server. So we'll see. I was having some issues with it. Hopefully it's back in working order. All right, so here's our captive portal set up. Here's our radio where we can go in and tune the radio across the board. I'm going to leave everything on auto for the moment. Of course, we've got rogue AP detection and quarantine. We do have a built-in firewall. Grandstream access points do support Hotspot 2.0. So if you're interested in that, let me know. If you run a business, there's a chance that if you have a lot of the public visiting, that we can get this configured for you, and you can actually make money doing offload from the carriers. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But that's what I really like about manufacturers these days. Look at Grandstream. All of this looks the same. It's very familiar. You're in one AP until you start getting into, you know, the newer technology like the Wi-Fi 7, and with the 6 gigahertz, like everything works the same. And it even works the same on these new APs. But my point is, like, all of your base settings, right? Unless there's a different radio or network configuration, everything should look the same and kind of feel the same. So let me see if I can see this SSID on my phone. Let's see here. I see it right there. So I'm going to connect to it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Connect. It is obtaining an IP address. And we are connected. So now let me pull up my internal speed test. And we'll see what we get. I'm going to flip this back over so I can see what's going on. So you can see I've got the, maybe you can see. Yep, I got my speed test up there. So I'm going to hit start. Now this AP is about 20 feet away, and it is not in an optimal, it is not an optimal configuration at all. It's laying flat. It's behind some computers. So on my download, I got 795 down, and upload, we're looking at like 451. Let's see if you can see that there. So almost a gigabit just out of the box with no tweaking. One thing I could do to see if I can make this go faster is I could disable 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, run just on that 6 gigahertz, and throw a massive channel in it. Maybe we'll do that. Let's see here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in, and if I go in here, you're going to see where it says use system settings, use radio settings, right? So if I have multiple APs, I can apply these settings to all the APs. If I don't want to do that, I can go down here and I can change the setup right here on just this particular radio, which is what we're going to do. But what I can do to make this easier is I can edit the SSID, and where it's Triband is I can come in here and I should be able to, let's see here, SSID band. I'm going to just drop this down. I'm going to select 6 gigahertz. I'm going to save that. We're going to apply it. We'll run this same speed test. I'll have to reconnect to it, but we'll run this same speed test and see what happens. And actually, one other thing that I can do is I can make sure that we've got good channel width, because I think by default this 6 gigahertz is running at 80 megahertz. So we'll see what happens as soon as this network thing restarts. All right, so we are going to go in here, and we're going to go down to the 6 gigahertz, and we're going to dump this guy on an insanely large swath here of 320 megahertz. We'll have to have radio power on high for sure. And we're going to go ahead and save that. And as soon as that saves, we will come back and do another speed test. So stand by. All right, so we've got the speed test back up here, blank screen, and I am connected to that, and we're going to hit start on this. Now this is a single client, and this is to my internal speed test server. Non-optimal access point placement, non-optimal configuration. So I got, looks like I got a little bit over a gig down, and I got 236.46 up. The other thing I'm going to do real quick is we're going to I'm going to drop that back down to like an 80 megahertz channel. We'll turn on MLO and we'll see if MLO does any better for us. I can't guarantee it. There's a lot of things with MLO. It's always fun to play with these new technologies that are coming out. But between device manufacturers and networking gear manufacturers, sometimes it's kind of a parade to get things right where it works, where marketing has told us it should be, no matter who the vendor is. So let me pause this. We'll go back over. We'll turn on that MLO. We'll try it again and see what happens. All right, so we're back on our radio configuration here. We're going to leave 2.4 at 20 megahertz because we want to be good neighbors. And we have multiple access points. We're going to leave the 5 gig at 80 megahertz, and then we're going to take this 6 gig and drop it back down to 80 megahertz. Everything else is on auto, right? So this is a pretty raw configuration. You know, when you're doing Wi-Fi, there's a lot of tweaking, a lot of testing, and obviously optimal access point placement. So I just want that disclaimer here that I do not have optimal placement. And so we'll see what happens. As soon as we do this, we have to go back to our SSID. We have to make it tri-band, and then we have to enable MLO. So as soon as this saves, that's what we'll do. Stay tuned. All right, so that's saved. So we're going to go back to SSIDs. We're going to edit this. We're going to go from 6 gigahertz only to tri-band, and then we're going to enable MLO. We're going to save that and apply it. And once this reloads, we'll be right back with another speed test. All right, so everything is done saving. So on my phone, I've got to go back and I've got to reconnect. Oh, it automatically reconnected. That was nice. So let's see here. We're going to refresh the speed test page. Let me bring this up here so you can see it. So blank speed test. Now this is with MLO enabled. So we'll see what my download is. I wonder, it's not looking the way you would think. So with MLO enabled, it's 472 down and 506 up. Once again, non-optimal access point placement. Obviously, 6 gigahertz is going to give you the fastest throughput, then 5 gigahertz, then 2 gigahertz. So are any of you running these APs? Let me ask you this. Is anybody running MLO and seeing great speeds no matter who the manufacturer is? Right? So it seems like a lot of the devices that I test, whether it's Grandstream or another manufacturer, MLO isn't quite where we thought it was going to be. But 6 gigahertz is usually cooking. Do you want to see me run any tests on this in a different configuration? Like, do you want me to have the access point like where we would have it like mounted in a ceiling or on a wall? Let me know. Let me know if I should change the way that I'm doing my Wi-Fi testing. Let me know that down below. So that's a little bit of an overview of this new AP. I'm super excited because they do keep pushing the boundaries, and the next Grandstream video is something that I'm super excited about. Also, let me know what your speed test results with this AP are down below. If you've been running it, let me know what your configuration is. Let me know what I messed up in my configuration, and we will you know, if turns out I've got a bad config, I'll reconfigure it. We'll rerun the test. And I've been thinking for a while, like, why don't I take like a piece of plywood and mount different APs to it and put it outside, try to not have any physical obstructions. It's obviously not a vacuum chamber, right? But it's a little bit better for a testing environment just to show raw theoretical speeds than an installation that's, you know, sitting behind computers on its back, things like that. So let me know down below what you think of this access point, what you think of the Grandstream access points, what you think of MLO. Is my configuration screwed up, and what other types of testing do you want to see? And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and share. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. Those links are down below, along with affiliate links, a Patreon link, and if you need IT consulting, whether it's for wired or wireless networking, security, storage, voice over IP, all those things, head on over to williehowe.com, fill out the contact form, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Once again, I'm Willie. I want to thank you for being here, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.